Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. Hope that you guys are all having an amazing start to this fine Wednesday morning. I've had somewhat of a pretty productive trading session during pre-market hours. I'll show you guys that in just a little bit. I'm going to start sharing my screen. Again, the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform is the platform that I'm using today is the crude oil. And for those that are not aware, one of the things that I do want to make sure that you guys are all aware of is that due to observance of the what's it called, 4th of July, right? Market closes early today, so it closes at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So before we get started, the natural gas report is today, the crude oil report is today, and what I want to remind you is that, again, if nothing meets your criteria, and please, like, if you guys could pay attention, if nothing meets your criteria, if the direction is not super clear, if everything is just not going, and easiest way for me to put it, if things are not aligning and meeting your criteria as a trader, please, especially today, markets close tomorrow, especially today, do not force a trade, right? You don't want to get into something, the market close early, and then the market's closed tomorrow, and then Fridays we know that are definitely not the best, right? So let's not force anything, especially, it doesn't matter if it's the crude oil report, it doesn't matter if it's the natural gas report today. I want to remind you that we have nothing but time. So don't try to make it or break it this week and discourage yourself to trade. Let's be selective. Let's make sure everything aligns and that the margin of profit is worth it, that the direction is in our favor, and that we feel comfortable and confident with our trade. So okay, am I the only one who has to watch commercials on the YouTube? First couple of sentences are usually just saying good morning, but as of right now, one of the things that I want to point out is crude oil, right, /CL, has been showing signs of an uptrend. It's holding in between the middle and top view up, but in reality, it's doing a really good job just riding the top view up. Right now, it's selling off a little bit. So again, patterns tend to repeat themselves. They don't have to. So let's go ahead and just try to wait for a potential support. For those that want a little bit more into our yo, what's going on, Super Snake? For those that want to see kind of where I'm at and what I've been trading since 5 a.m. in the morning, 5:20 to be exact. That was when I took my first trade. And I'll show you guys this right now. So I'm going to click here. I've been trying to keep you guys up to date as much as I could. And again, I post my updates. These are not stock alerts. These are not trade, suggestions in any way. It's keeping you up to date on a lot of the things that I sometimes talk about are stocks or ETFs or futures that I'm not even trading. They're just alerts to let you know what I think is overbought or oversold. That's all I talk about. I talk about waiting for confirmation when the confirmation is there. And again, just following up with what I'm watching. It doesn't mean that I'm trading any of this. So again, please, moving forward and ongoing for any platform, you should never trade based off other people's opinion. So I did a really good job. I closed out my first trade. My first trade alone was $1,100, and I'll show you guys in just a little bit. Natural gas below the EMA line. Once again, this was about maybe 40 minutes later. As you guys can see, natural gas began to recover, right? Natural gas peaked out. I called it out when or brought it to our group's attention when it was overextended. I waited for lower lows, then posted it in the trade ideas, right? It began to sell off, and then just like expected, it corrected itself to around the SMA line and middle view up. That's where I decided to sell DGAS. It pushed back up again. Then what did I do? I bought DGAS again. And then once it sold off, added more to my position size. On this trade, I locked in profits a little bit earlier than I expected. I didn't, my expectation, and let me explain why I decided to lock in profits sooner. As this thing sold off, this was making higher highs and higher lows. It didn't make higher highs this last time, but I still didn't want to, it took a little bit longer for this to sell off and really touch the SMA line. I didn't know if it was going to go down to previous lows or just bounce off the SMA line. So what I did was, once we got around this general area, I decided to lock in profits. So my second trade wasn't the most successful. Altogether, with a total of 8 trades, you guys know how I trade. I buy, and then I sell. I buy, and then I sell. Total of 8 orders, 2 day trades, $1,800 so far. All positions as of right now on DGAS have been closed out. And just so you could see that I tried to do my best to wait for confirmation, average up, and all that stuff. I bought, and then I sold, right? I bought, and then I sold, right? So that last 100 shares, I did not mean to sell it separately. I forgot that I had, I was supposed to only be trading with 600 shares. I ended up trading with 700 shares, and I had to close out that trade because I completely was unaware that I took an additional 100 share position size on that. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much how my trades this morning played out. I explained my thought process when it came down to natural gas, right? That's the biggest factor in this. And as of right now, we can see that natural gas is trying to push right back up. But again, what happens, right? The SMA line in the middle VWAP used to be a support, right? Where it would bounce at. Makes sense, right? This general area. You guys can see these indicators. Now that it broke below and now that it's trying to push back up, old support levels become new resistance levels. And this is where we might begin to see a change of direction. And guess what? It happened as soon as the market opened. It began to, again, break below the SMA line and the middle VWAP, and then now the overall direction can change. Until proven otherwise, then that's kind of where I'm at right now. So if you guys have any questions about my trades this morning, feel free to let me know. We have about 23 minutes until the crude oil report comes out. And then if I'm not mistaken, at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the natural gas report comes out. I'm not going to be trading that long. In all reality, I'll probably, I'm already done. I already hit my daily goal, right? 1.5% is my goal that I try to aim for on a daily basis, and I already hit it. So I'm going to try to take it easy, especially with the market closing early today. I just know that there's not going to be as much activity due to that, and I just want to make sure that I keep it short and sweet, right? So if I see anything present itself, I'll go for it, but I'm not going to force a trade. So how much do you pay per trade? I've answered this before, and I explained this, right? So, well, that was the future. So let me set an alert here. This is because it's crude oil. So you can see here, I pay $3 per trade. Again, that's been over the years of negotiating with TD Ameritrade, and just have been a long-time customer. And over time, you can call them and just continue to negotiate with them. So what time will the market close today? Market closes at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Natural gas report comes out at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the crude oil report comes out in 21 minutes. I'm not going to be answering that question anymore. Do you get charged fees for margin trading? I'm not too sure. I don't trade off of margin. I just trade with my overall account balance, and that's it. Alrighty, so it looks like we're trying to get some form of consolidation. Again, this is not a super good deal. This is kind of at a critical point. We don't know if this thing's gonna push up or continue to sell off. So there's no reason, especially right now in the position that I'm in, there's no reason to force this trade. I'm gonna pay attention to crude oil. Crude oil looks like it might be building a support. What do you guys think about this? Ricky, you need a bot for these FAQs. Must be so annoying to repeat yourself. Yeah, but I don't want to necessarily have a bot. I have an FAQ section within Discord, but again, I'm here to work. I'm here for your service, right? I just want to make sure that I encourage you and empower you to be self-sufficient, right? That you've done your own due diligence and that you're at least going through the course and have utilized all the different resources that we have available for you. And if it still comes down to you having questions, then of course I'm here for you. I do agree. A bot might be a little bit more efficient, but I really like working with our Learn Plan Profit team. It makes me feel good, and I think they really do. Or you guys can let me know. The overall engagement aspect is, I think, much more enjoyable, and you guys know that I have your back. You guys have mine, right? In making sure that we make one another aware of these different things. So. I use, so Jordan, that's a very good thing that you brought up, because when you, there we go, crude oil pushing up, so it looks like the MACD is already reversing, the RSI looks good, and crude oil has been something that's been making higher highs. So if this thing is pushing up, then that means that UWT is pushing up. And it's crazy to see this, because that means that DWT sold off quite a bit since it's pushed up. So looking at UWT, where's it at? Yo, what's going on? What the heck? Okay, I want to calculate the margin. Yeah, it's less than 1%. That was really frustrating. Sorry about that. And there it goes, getting rejected. So as of right now, again, the overall direction can change. But to answer your question, one of the things that I pay the most attention to, and this is something that I've said multiple times, is again looking at this. I can't really identify, there's not enough volume, there's not enough patterns, right? All I pay attention to is literally the future. That's all I pay attention to. That's what I'm watching to see what's overbought. This is where I'm setting my alerts, because you can't even set alerts during pre-market or after-market hours for anything, right? So I set alerts for the futures, and because the futures are trading, right, then they actually get triggered. So this is all I trade off of. I try to focus on direction. I try to focus on patterns. I try to focus on what's overbought, what's overextended. Do I have the confirmation? Is it making lower lows? Is it making higher highs? And stuff like that. So this is all I pay attention to. This is all I paid attention to when it came down to trading ticker symbol DGAS. And I would, feel free to test it out. It doesn't mean that that's the best way to do it. I'm just sharing with you how I did it. So test it out. See if focusing on the future, again, for DGAS, natural gas /NG has a direct correlation in my experience with DGAS and UGAS. With UWT and DWT, I've seen a direct correlation with /CL. With /GC and JNEG and JDST, it's not an exact, correlation, right? When it comes down to /NQ and SQs and TQs, I've seen a direct correlation between that. So you have to understand not every single future has a direct correlation with its corresponding, ETF. So make sure that you understand the ones that do and the ones that don't. But yeah, feel free to test it out. How can you figure out for yourself if it's a working system? Just because it works for me doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. You test it out, and until proven otherwise, right? Or until proven, it's pretty much just a best practice. Until it works well for you, then it can become a habit that you begin to implement into your trading strategy. That's the way that I would want to learn. And any concepts, right, that people are trying to preach online, you don't know if they work for you until you test it out, practice it, try to refine it time over time, and see if it works well for you. Here we go. The MACD looks a little bit on the overextended side, so does the RSI. It makes sense on why this thing can and potentially will try to sell off. Of course, Jordan, thank you again for your time. I really do appreciate you tuning in. That's a pretty cool beard too. I know you could see mine coming in. So here we go. So look at the MACD, look at the RSI. It definitely makes sense on why this thing can continue to sell off, right? So let's go ahead and just give it a little bit more time to identify its direction. Right now, we're kind of showing signs of this almost like upward staircase pattern until it breaks that pattern and begins to make lower lows. All right. Do you have statistics of your efficiency on trading systems? No, I do not. But yeah, and that's why, again, just because I do something doesn't mean that it's going to work well for you. And I've said that multiple times, and I think it all comes down to, practice, trial and error, and then refinement. So are you in any positions right now? I got into the live stream late. Nope, all my positions are closed. There we go. Strong push up on natural gas. We got 14 minutes. 14 minutes until the natural gas report comes out. Did you see Teslas with the successful deliveries? I did. Yeah, that's it. I was actually gonna make a video about it, but I just decided not to. But now it looks overbought, overextended. This is a perfect example. Again, I'm just speaking based off my experience. Can Tesla continue to push up? Can Tesla, be honest, can Tesla continue to push up? Oh, not natural gas. Yeah, sorry. Crude oil report. I apologize. So can Tesla continue to push up? Can it? If you're watching the live stream right now, I need you to participate. So can Tesla continue to push up? I'm not asking you if you think that it's overbought, oversold. I'm asking you, can Tesla continue to push up? Of course. The answer is yes. Anything can happen, right? Okay. What do we know about what was released yesterday? What do we know about what was released yesterday? There was some news that came out about Tesla and their deliveries that acted as a positive catalyst that drove the price up on Tesla. We know that, right? What do we know about news? News is only relevant for a period of time. So can Tesla continue to push up? Of course. Can Tesla and will Tesla most likely pull back? Just ask yourself, in your experience, when it comes down to certain news being released, it being out there, right? And over a period of time, it's only a matter of time for that news to become less relevant. It doesn't mean that the valuation is not there. It just means that it becomes less relevant and the price will begin to correct itself. So what do you think? Your future self, you in 5 years, for those that are waiting for maybe Tesla to release more news, for those that are hoping that, Tesla pushes up, even $5 or $10 more. Again, let your actions speak louder than your hopes and your desires. Does it make sense to lock in Tesla right now where it's at? I think it does. You know that I'm someone that's so focused on consistently staying green. And in any indication of something being overbought or overextended, what do? We lock in profits and we walk away. Yes, can Tesla, and this is why I'm saying it, can Tesla continue to push up? Of course, anything can happen. Elon can release another tweet. I mean, I'm not saying this in a passive-aggressive way, but Elon can release another tweet of trying to take Tesla private, and then it'll shoot up again, right? Will it last for a very long period of time? No. And will it most likely pull back? Yes, of course. But what will most likely happen, right? The news will become less relevant, and the price most likely will fall. And again, I didn't mean that. You guys know that I love Tesla. You guys know that I really see a lot of value in Elon. But it's just, I'm trying to make it funny, right? But also so it sticks. So it sticks for you guys. I want to make sure that you understand that your actions today have to speak louder than your hopes and your desires. If you want to be able to do this consistently and grow your account, you need to make sure that your best practices today and what you're doing today align with your end goal. Yeah, it doesn't mean that it I like how you put that. It can, but it doesn't mean that it will, right? I think I would be much better off, right? If I were to have this certain type of opportunity presented to me, right? And think about this, 10 times where something pushes up because of news and you're given 10 opportunities of what to do. I think out of those 10 times, a majority of the times, it will most likely pull back. And because of that outcome and because of my track record and because of my experience, I can make that assumption. And does that assumption always mean that it's right? No. But that assumption based off my experience at least encourages me and empowers me to lock in profits. And that's always, in my eyes, the best, right? But again, that's just me. And I just wanted to make sure that that's something that I covered. I think it's amazing that Tesla pushed up. I think it's amazing that their, that their deliveries, were greater than expected. The best deliveries, I think I read a little article, is the best deliveries that they've had in a while, right, or ever. And it's great. I think it's amazing that they were able to do that. Cool. I would still lock in profits. Learning a lot from LPP. Thanks for appreciate you guys' time. I really do appreciate you tuning in and hear me out as well. So here we go. Natural gas again pushing up. Look at that MACD. Look at the RSI. Still pushing up. Still showing signs of an uptrend. And again, No, regardless of how overbought, regardless of how overextended, especially right now, confirmation is definitely going to be key for me because I'm already up a certain dollar amount that I don't need to force any more trades, right? Here we go. So it tried to make signs of recovery, so we'll see if this thing begins to make higher highs. What time did you hit your goal? I don't know. When I just sold my last trade. I hit 1800 in like, I don't know when I sold last, but yeah, I'll look at that right now. But huge sell-off on crude oil. Again, it's been trying to recover. Look at the MACD, look at the RSI, and again, the report comes out in about 8 minutes. When did I take my last trade? I don't know. Let's see. I guess a better way is to go to DGAS. I don't really know why that matters too much, but okay. Here. Before 7 o'clock. I started trading at 5:20. That's when I took my first trade. I think we have him here. Yeah. Yeah, 5:20. Ah, okay. All right. I'm trying to see if crude oil could be a good setup. If it pushes up, pushes down, I'm trying to think like what I would do. So right now on the day, right, crude oil is moving up, right? It's up on the day and it's been showing signs of an uptrend. It's trying to create this reversal. We just have to wait for it. We have 7 minutes left. 7 minutes. /CL just broke above. There we go. Can we make higher highs? Look at the MACD, look at the RSI. Do you think it can? I didn't think the margin of profit to be worth it based off previous highs, and that's why I decided not to. Alrighty, let's see. Here we go. Alright, let's see it. We have 6 minutes left. Crude oil right now is pushing up, right? Where's the music, right? I know, right? Here we go. So look at the MACD. It's beginning to show signs of rejection. Do you guys see that, right? The MACD beginning to show signs of a little bit of a sell-off. That doesn't really mean anything until the pattern follows. The RSI, based off previous patterns, definitely a little bit more on the overextended side, so not the best deal. So it makes sense on why this can potentially sell off, right, and get rejected. But again, no confirmation yet. I also do want you guys to know that the spread between the bid and the ask, especially on something like DGAS, tends to be sometimes pretty high. So again, right now we're getting some form of rejection. There we go. On the SMA line for /NG. We have 5 minutes left until the crude oil report. So how do you manage trading DGAS with such a big spread? Still the same way. making sure that you're getting a good deal and making sure that you feel comfortable with the trade. And if it breaks its pattern, then you cut losses. Trading it during pre-market hours, if you think this is a big spread, sometimes it has a $1 or over a $1 spread. So you have to be even more selective. That's the risk of trading when not that many people are trading. You just have to accept it. And if you don't accept it or you don't agree with it, then don't trade during those hours. And that's totally okay. But yeah, I found the deal to be good enough for it to be worth the risk. And that's my opinion. And that's why I decided to, take the trade. All right, so we got filled with 35 shares. Dang it. Ricky, what hotkeys do you use? They're set up on TD Ameritrade. So you just enable the active trader. These are the ones I have. I've been locking in profits for 10 days straight now. I think I finally learned after 2 years. I'm super happy to hear that, but I think the mentality that, again, that I'm always going to try to, be devil's advocate. I think it's absolutely amazing. I want to congratulate you, right, that it's now starting to click. Let's not think that we have it all figured out, right? The market's always changing, and we want to make sure that we are not always so focused on the offense because we're doing well, that we also keep in mind the defense, right? Making sure that we feel comfortable and confident with our trade, but at any potential sign or change of direction, that we do our part in closing out the trade. So, are you still working on the LPP update? Yeah, we're getting you guys that are messaging us every day. Again, that's still something that I'm working on. I just ran into some difficulties with a certain series of things that I wanted to share within the video. So I will update it, and I keep you guys up to date once I have it. So I appreciate you guys asking and looking forward to it. So I had some luck like that, then we keep it. And I hope with what I said, and Danton, I don't know if you could agree. I hope that when I tell you guys that when you guys are doing well, and I remind you that hey, it's probably best to. Okay, I just want to make sure. I just want to make sure that when I'm just here to remind you and to always try to, when you think that you're the best that you can be, to remind you that you could be even better, right? So if you're consistent, but I think that you could even, be more consistent, or I want you to be more aware on the defense, I'm just speaking based off of, and it's nothing about being humble. It's nothing about that. It's not it has nothing to do with that. It's just making sure that you're aware that there's no such thing of always having it figured out. There's a great understanding of what it is that we're doing, but to understand that the market's always changing. You always want to be on your toes, right? And making sure that you're quick to change according to the market. That's all I want to empower you to be. So yeah, all right, I'll stop talking now. We have about 30 seconds left. 30 seconds, so it looks like it did push up. Looks like it's done or had a resistance here, right? I like that. So I agree. Discipline definitely goes a long way. Here we go. We got 5 seconds. Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Boom. Oh, I was like, what happened? To the Ameritrade. There it goes. This is uptrending and crude oil sold off. Not in favor of crude oil. That's in favor of DWT, which makes sense. If you guys think about it, there is a fundamental reason on why DWT pushed up so aggressively yesterday. Makes sense, right? It corrected itself, but again, the news then becomes more relevant and it drives the price up. So it definitely makes sense on why expectations or the report ended up playing out in DWT's favor. There's a lot of positive news towards DWT. So huge push up on DWT, and until proven otherwise, it is a descending pattern on the day. It was an uptrend pattern yesterday, so let's just be very patient and very selective with our entry. Alrighty. And just so you guys can see, I am down on my trade. I'm down $40. So my position size is about 30% of what I normally trade with, right? So I feel comfortable with this. And if I have to close it out for a loss, I'll do it. But altogether on the day, just so you guys can see, still up a decent amount. And I'm just going to wait. I'm just going to give this more time, and then I will keep you guys up to date with under the trade ideas section. I'll probably trade for another 30 minutes to maybe 45 minutes. So I'll be posting updates here. After that, I'll really just be catching up on messages within Discord. And then I have a little bit of work that I have to catch up on today, just because a lot of my time yesterday morning was spent filming yesterday's video that we have. So Ricky, can you please be live for the natural gas report? I will not be live during the natural gas report. Yeah, but I do appreciate you wanting me to be live, but I will be busy during that time. So that's why I asked, what time would be best, crude oil or natural gas. And I want you guys to know that, again, the market's closed tomorrow, right? The natural gas report is 1 hour. Market closes early today at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I've said this, right? And what's it called? The natural gas report is at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So again, you guys can Google all this. You guys can Google it and see the schedule. By you guys asking that, I'm aware now that you guys aren't paying attention to any of this. I posted this yesterday in both TechBud Solutions and Learn Plan Profit. Just a reminder, right? The natural gas report. I know that we have a lot of people that focus on the crude oil report, but a lot more that focus on natural gas. So please, please, please do me the biggest favor and do not force any of your trades. The market closes early today. The market is closed tomorrow, and then the only other day is Friday. We all know that Fridays, in my experience, are not the best days. So please be selective with what you choose to trade. If anything, get an early start to your holiday, or dedicate time to maybe learn something new, or just practice. There's no reason until or if you have a really good setup, I would just not force it. That's just my opinion, right? And there we go. Huge push up on natural gas, huge sell off on Diaz. Perfect way to close out the live stream. Oh my goodness. All right. Yeah, I'll definitely have to see what caused this. It could have just been a breakout. No, right here. Okay, so definitely some news. At 7:33, some news came out, back being overextended, right? So if we begin to make higher highs, then I'll definitely have to cut losses. I want to see what happened to /CL. Still selling off. I honestly think that there might actually be somewhat of a correlation. Yeah, right here. Okay, it is having an influence on natural gas to an extent. That news, the news that is being shared right now, there's definitely an influence that's happening right now. So let's be aware of that. Again, the more patient that you wait, the more patient that you are, the more margin for potential recovery there can be, right? Especially if you're just sure. If you're just sure that, crude oil is going to recover, or that you think that natural gas is going to sell off, let me be a perfect example of why you should wait for confirmation. There's no reason for you to have to buy the dip. Wait for confirmation, feel comfortable with your trade, and be efficient. So really do appreciate you guys' time. I'll keep you guys up to date with my overall trade, and then we'll kind of go from there. So let's see where we're at. All right. I'll show you guys real quick just so you guys know. So I'm down 430, which isn't a huge amount, but due to my position size, it's about like a little bit over 1%, which does hurt. But guys, we have time. So let's be patient. Let's be selective. I'll keep you guys up to date under the trade ideas, and I really do appreciate you guys' time. Continue working hard. Continue following dreams. Let your passion be a drive to success. It looks like crude oil and natural gas are already recovering. And like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take